Hello, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting at Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host of the station. Folks, I'm excited, as always, to have you join me on my show to listen wherever you are. Thank you. And I just want to make two public service announcements before I announce my guest. One is that it is September, and September is World Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So if you have any concerns about your memory, please consult your primary care physician. And if you are seeking support, we have plenty of guests that were on Chatting with Betsy that are wonderful resources. And also, it is Suicide Prevention Month. If you are struggling, please call the crisis line 988 and seek your primary care physician for referrals in the area which you live in. And with me today is Dennis J. Henson. He was a guest back in February, and I'm so glad he's joining me again today. Dennis J. Henson is a successful real estate investor with over 50 years of experience. Dennis is a teacher, business owner, best-selling author, and international speaker. His students are some of the most successful business owners in Texas. His books on business, self-improvement, and real estate are changing lives. Dennis is a longtime president of Vanguard Marketing and Investments Incorporation. And the name of his book, which I highly recommend, it is full of wonderful, inspiring stories, Real Impact, Daily Inspiration. So I want to welcome you back, Dennis J. Henson, to Chatting with Betsy.
Thank you, Betsy. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me. I always enjoy visiting with you.
Oh, thank you. And I really enjoyed our chat the last time. And just to refresh people's memories, and if you didn't listen to Dennis back in February, go back and listen to Dennis because it was really an excellent show, if I have to say so myself. What inspired you to write Real Impact?
Well, I had been collecting books on success. When I first went into business, the company that I went to work for gave me 3 books, and they changed my life. I had never been introduced to self-help books, and I didn't know about positive mental attitude or anything like that. And I read those books, and oh my gosh, it gave me such a high. I was just exhilarated, and I wanted more. So I asked everyone that I knew who was successful, what books are you reading? And so I continued to do that for 50 years, and I only kept the list of the ones that really, really shook me, like they reached inside and plucked my heartstrings. They really got me motivated. So I also started collecting poems and quotes and short stories. So I was on a podcast one time, a real estate podcast, and the host said, "Dennis, why are your students so amazingly successful?" And I said, "Well, I have them change their habits. You know, if they can form success habits, they'll become successful." Then he said, "Well, what's the number one success habit?" I thought for a second, and I said, "Well, form the habit of reading something positive every day that moves you toward your goal." And after the podcast was over, I thought, "Wow, man, that was the right answer. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there were some kind of a tool to make it really easy to form that habit, because it's such a powerful habit?" Then it hit me. I mean, it was almost like somebody reached down and grabbed me on the shoulder and shook me. "Hey, you've been collecting these things for 50 years. You can put them in a book, and people can form that habit reading something really, really powerful, regardless of the time. if they have 5 minutes, they can read a super poem. If they only have a few seconds, they can read 1 or 2 quotes. If they're at the airport, they're waiting on a plane, they have 3 hours, they can read one of the books listed in the back, which are powerful books, or they can read a short story, which may take anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. So I started working on it, and I thought, well, I have all the stuff. It's in my computer. I've been collecting it for years. I'll put that together, and in a couple of months, I'll have the book, and it'll be ready to go, and I can use it in my training. So I started working, and I worked every day for 6 years. I started in 2018, and I finished in 2024, and it had to be perfect. And the hardest part of putting it together was eliminating, because I had 100 stories, and they wouldn't all fit in one book, and get the poems and quotes and everything else. So I'm very pleased with it, and the thing that really thrills me is going to Amazon and reading the reviews. I just love to go there, and the people love the book. And I have over 100 reviews, a 5-star average, which is not easy to do. And it's been an Amazon #1 bestseller. The largest book club in the world had me for Book of the Month, this book, the Jaeger Book Club. So it's won some other awards. I'm just really thrilled with it. And I think anybody that just takes the time and go and look at the book and give it a chance, it can change their life. And I know you've read part of the book, and you can attest. It's interesting.
Yes.
And it's something that you look forward to the next day so you can read some more.
That's what I love about this book, Dennis. It's a book that you can just pick up, read, a story, read a poem, and it is very inspiring. And you mentioned something that I said often on my show. Giving someone a book can change their life, can change the direction of their life. I've heard it by many guests, and you're saying the same. And this book, Real Impact, Daily Inspiration, can change someone's life. It will give someone inspiration. It will give someone hope that's feeling down. Would you be making a second part of this book of the stories that you didn't put in the first one?
It's even better than that. My initial plan was to do a book 1 and 2 for the stories that I left out. So I started on the book 2, and I was working on it, and I tried to keep these stories. I didn't want to get too spiritual, because if you do, I didn't want to turn someone off because I had gotten into spirituality. And I just stuck with success. But I kept finding these stories that were just so powerful, miracles that happened. And I thought, well, I'll do a book 3, which is kind of a spiritual number. And book 3 is better than book 1 and 2. It's just miracle after miracle after miracle of people who were in desperate condition, and all of a sudden things just changed for them. And I love reading it. I could just read it every day, but I'm glad you asked that. And I'm writing other books. I'm writing The 7 Secrets of Success, The Laws of Nature for Success, Burning Desire, Wisdom, Stature, God, and Man. So I'm busy,
Yes.
My real estate business kind of runs itself, but I write every day. I write 2,000 to 3,000 words a day, every day.
Wow, that's incredible. When would your third book come out, the spiritual one?
Well, I'm not sure when that one will be finished. I have finished 5 books on real estate, which is a series, and they will be coming out shortly. The next book is a success book, The 7 Secrets of Success. I just gave it to my secretary to send to the person who gets it ready and publishes it. So The 7 Secrets will be the next one that probably your audience would be most interested in. But hopefully by the end of this year or partway through next year, we'll have that second and third Real Impact book completed.
Well, I have to say this, Dennis. So I'm reading this book, Real Impact, Daily Inspiration, and knowing your successful career, I'm sure the 7 Secrets of Success is going to be another blockbuster. It's going to be another bestseller, and people should definitely consider purchasing that. That is for sure, because if you want a book how to do something, you got to go to the masters, like I say. You have to go to the experts, and you're definitely an expert about being successful. You're welcome. You're welcome. I wanted to discuss, folks. This book, Real Impact, has stories about many different people. One story stands out, and that's about Sylvester Stallone, the famous actor, writer, director. And it just struck me, Dennis, because I didn't know how down and out Sylvester Stallone was. I mean, he gave up his dog. He was sleeping in his a car or at the train station, and he just hung in there and went to different studios about his first movie, Rocky. And can you tell us how you found out about this story and expand on that? Because it's very inspiring.
When I was teaching, I took a lot of students on for real estate investing, and part of their teaching was motivation. I wanted them to be motivated to get up and go out and do stuff. So I was always looking for stories that had that kick, that made them realize, hey, it doesn't matter what condition you're in right now. The only thing that matters is what you do. And I saw a headline that says the saddest story in Hollywood. And I thought, well, I'll read that and see. And boy, when I read that story, I thought, oh, my, just like you, that is amazing. Now, the story I read was abbreviated to what's in the book. I did a lot of research and added a lot to it. But it was basically that he was having a difficult time. He was so broke out of it that he had to sell his dog, which was his best friend, so that the dog would be able to eat. And it broke his heart. He got $25 and came out crying, tears running down his eyes. But he thought, well, at least he'll be able to be fed. So then it was shortly after that he saw the fight with Ali and the Beyond Bruiser and wrote the screenplay, and he went for an audition. And while he was there, he thought, well, I'll tell these producers that I have a screenplay. And he told them, and they kind of sloughed him off and said, yeah, bring it, we'll look at it. And to their surprise, he came back the next day and did have a screenplay. And they read it, and they loved it. And they offered him a tremendous amount of money. I think it was like $350,000 if you'll give me the screenplay. He said, I'll do that, but I have to be the lead in the play. Well, they didn't want him. They wanted Brian O'Neill, or one of the leading stars of the day. They wanted a big star to play it. And he said, well, I'm already used to being broke. I'll just take my chances. And he turned it down. He turned down that kind of money, and he was homeless and broke and didn't have enough food to feed his dog. Well, they really wanted it, so they came back and made a different offer where he would be the lead, but he only got $35,000. And he had to spend $15,000 to get his dog Butkus back. It cost him 15 of his 35, but he wanted it back so bad that he spent a lot of the money to get the dog back. And the dog's in the movie. So if you ever go back and see Rocky, look for Butkus. He's one of the stars of the movie.
That is incredible. He, hung in there. Oh, and I have to make a correction, folks. Sylvester Stallone didn't even own a car. He was living in a bus station. So imagine living in a bus station, from that to winning Oscar. He won Oscars for Best Picture, Best Directing, and Best Film Editing, and received 6 other nominations. And the picture was even inducted into the American National Film Registry as one of the greatest movies ever made. That is just phenomenal.
Wow.
I was inspired because, sometimes you think, oh, can it get any worse? What's going on? And it's, I think Dennis is like when people, they always say it's darkest before dawn. And, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you just hang in there and just have, I think, faith in yourself, faith in a supreme being. I'm not going to tell people what to believe in. That's not what I'm here for. But I think that really helps get to where you want to go. Do you agree?
Well, Betsy, yes. That's we talked about the 7 secrets of success, my new book. And that's the 7th secret, to be persistent. You're going to get knocked down. That's part of being successful. But what do you do when you get knocked down? If you can just keep getting up, that's one of the keys to success.
Yes, and I maybe it was in one of Rocky's movie where he's saying, you're gonna get knocked down. You have to, can't be making excuses and blaming people. It's getting in there, getting in the ring. And you're going to get beaten up. Life will beat you up, and life will knock you down. It's getting back up. That is, I think, the secret sauce. Getting back up and, trying again and again. I mean, you have, it's not in the book, but I'm just thinking like J.K. Rowling, right, in her Harry Potter series. She was turned down so many times. Living in her car, she became successful. The actor and director, are you familiar with Chaz Palminteri? He wrote The Bronx Tale.
I've heard the name. It's vaguely familiar, but no.
He was in, he did The Bronx Tale, and he was broke. He kept shopping it around. He wanted to be in the main star. And he was doing a one-man show about it. And Robert De Niro happened to come into that, watch him. And Robert De Niro said, I will, play your dad, and I will direct it. And it became phenomenal. It's a wonderful movie. And then he got, other roles, but it's hanging in. That is the key. And I just have to say, Dennis, and I know I say this all the time, but I have learned such an appreciation for life after watching my husband die. My husband was only 66. My brother was 67. And people will say, Betsy, how can you be grateful for your journey with Alzheimer's with your husband? He had it young. Because of that journey changed my life, made me a better person, brought me to where I am today, where I'm helping other people. So I am thankful for that journey, as painful as it was, because it inspired me and helped change my life. And we have rough patches that we go through.
Right. Well, one of the keys, actually the very first key and the most important key to success is to get your mind right. And what you're saying is, being grateful. Look, you're in this life. things are going to go bad. You have a choice. If you want to be happy, you have to be grateful. If you want to be sad, then don't be grateful and just, be bitter, and it'll ruin your life. Things are going to happen. You've just got to deal with what happens, and if you want to feel good, then start counting your blessings, looking for the things that you have to be thankful for. You're still alive. You can breathe. Your hands work. There's a poem in the book about a person that was going through their day, and he saw the lady with beautiful hair, and he maybe it was a she. She thought, oh, what beautiful hair. And then as the person walked by, she was crippled. And she thought, oh, well, I may not have beautiful hair, but I've got my legs, so the world belongs to me. And the name of the poem is The World Is Mine. It's a beautiful poem. In fact, all of the poems in the back of the book are like that. If you're down, just go read a couple of those, and it'll make you appreciate what you have.
Absolutely. I had to share the story with you and the audience, Dennis, and this just shows you how your perspective can change on how you view things. This summer, my washer and my dryer both stopped working at the same time. Oh, no. And took a couple of weeks to get it fixed. And I was, going to a laundromat, and I was thinking, oh, wow, why did this, why did this happen? And I said, wait a minute, Betsy, washer and dryer, that's nothing. That could be fixed. You are healthy. Thankfully, you're healthy. You could drag this stuff to the laundromat, and this is nothing. This can be fixed. There are people with much worse problems. And I have my health. And my grandmother would say, Betsy, when you have your health, you have everything. And that is true. And when I changed my perspective, then I said, okay, this will be fixed. This is nothing. This is just a little glitch. And my attitude was much better.
Sure. And in the real estate business, we get hit all the time with unexpected bills. If you've got 60 houses, in the summer, you're going to have 5 or 6 air conditioners that go out, and it's going to cost you $6,000 or $8,000, and you just got to write a check and fix them. So the way I look at it is this: oh, I'm so glad I have the money to do this. That's the difference in your mindset. You can, oh no, another air conditioner went out. It's thousands of dollars. What am I going to do? You can think that, or you can think, oh, well, I have the money in the bank to pay it. I'm blessed. It's your mental attitude. It determines how you feel. In fact, I have a little new promo for the book. It says this: do you want to sleep better? Would you like to feel better all the time? Do you want to look beautiful? Do you want to make more money? Would you like to have lower blood pressure or a new home? How about a new car? Would you like to be respected among everyone you know? Okay? Then form the habit of reading something positive every day that moves you toward whatever goal you have, whichever of those goals. And you may think, well, I don't have time to read something positive every day. Well, yes, you do if you use this book, because it's written to fit into whatever time you do have. And it's powerful, and you can take it, and it'll lead you to other books. You don't have to go out and search, oh, what am I going to read next? Well, no, there's 100 books in there that you can read next, and they're in priority order. Read this one first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So you don't even have to make any decisions. You just do the habit, read the books, and I'll guarantee you it'll change your life. But we haven't told everybody how to get the book or where to get it. Is it okay if I do that?
Sure. Before you do that, Dennis, can I read 2 quotes from your book?
Sure.
Talking about circumstances. This just hit me right in the face right now. Here is one quote: we can let circumstances rule us, or we can take charge and rule our lives from within by Earl Nightingale. And another one is You Never Know How Far a Bullfrog Can Jump When It's Sitting on the Creek Bank by Charles Bowden. That's phenomenal. I really like that. But yes, go ahead. You can share where people can buy the book.
Well, if everyone would go to realimpactbook.com, there's 3 free gifts. If you scroll to the bottom where it says podcast attendee and click on that, there's 3 gifts for you. No strings, wonderful gifts. And you'll be so pleased that you got those. And that website is where you go to find out where to purchase this book, the other books that are coming up, how to be notified if you would like to. It has the mystery of the lamp. There's a picture of Aladdin's lamp on the front of the book, and that website solves the mystery. It has the magic formula, how to use the book and get whatever you want. It has every month a free ebook, so you can come back every month and get a new book to read for that month, and I guarantee it's a wonderful book. There's a game where it says the lamp escaped from one of the covers, and it's somewhere in this website. Now, remember, the website has lots of different pages. You have to click on the different links, but if you find the lamp and send us an email, we'll send you the audio book, which is like an $18 value. There's a place where you can help the children by donating these books to the children, and a place to contact me in case you need to talk with me or want me to speak or just want to know something about what's coming next.
Well, that is excellent information. I've been on the website, and it is quite phenomenal. I'm going to read one of your quotes, Dennis, from your book. Okay. I love this. Accept discord. It is inevitable, but strive for harmony. Wow. That is powerful. There's, folks, I'm telling you, not only are the quotes, the poems, you do have a list. There's a list of all these books that can change your life by reading them. And there's just so many stories. There's Mary Kay in here. You wouldn't have heard of Mary Kay Cosmetics. There's her story, which is very inspiring. I learned more about Abraham Lincoln from reading your book, Dennis, of what his life was like. And, of course, Disney, Walt Disney. And, you know, we sometimes put ourselves in boxes, you know, and we limit ourselves. Or we limit ourselves because someone said we can't do something or we weren't good enough. Don't listen to those people. You know, Walt Disney was told he wasn't creative enough. Can you believe that? And look what he created. It's just incredible. I think Clint Eastwood was told he couldn't act. And you know, it's just really amazing the people that we know who were turned down over and over again, told they weren't talented, and went and became very successful.
Exactly. There's a story about Clint Eastwood and Burt Reynolds were sitting out in front of one of the Hollywood studios, and they had both lost their job on the same day. Burt Reynolds lost his job in Gunsmoke, and Clint Eastwood lost his job in Rawhide, and they were sitting out on a curb wondering what they were going to do next. Isn't that amazing?
That is.
They figured it out. They had wonderful careers. Yeah, the story of Clint Eastwood is in book 2, and you just cannot imagine what you're going to learn about Clint Eastwood in book 2. It's just his story is very powerful, very powerful. He almost lost his life a couple of times, just like Disney. Disney also almost lost his life several times in that story. But he got back up, dusted off his pants, and went on to become super successful. He did die pretty young, though. He could have done so much more if he could just lived 15 more years.
Yes. He died while he was trying to get the Disney, is it called Disneyland, Disney World, that's down in Florida.
Yes, he was planning to build Epcot Center in Disney World. And he passed away before Disney World was built. And his brother, Roy, was retiring. But he came out of retirement and said, I'm going to do this for my little brother. And he renamed it Walt Disney World. So if it wasn't for Roy, we wouldn't have Walt Disney World.
Wow.
And Epcot. Yeah, Epcot. They have a little Epcot section, but he was planning to build the city of the future. And it was going to be big, and it was going to have things that no other city ever had. And every city from that point forward would pattern after that. So our world would be different had Disney lived just a little longer. Same way with Lincoln and some of the other people. But what they did while they were here was pretty amazing.
Yes, that's for sure. And Clint Eastwood, I think he turned 95 recently. He was still directing. He was still, making movies into his 90s.
Yeah,
and
that's right. They're still good.
Directing. Yes. Yes. Very, very good movies. I forgot the last movie I saw with him. Went right out of my head. But that was really good. I always enjoyed watching Clint Eastwood movies. And we get inspiration from reading about real people who had real struggles. Sometimes people think, oh, well, that wasn't real, that's make-believe. No, these are real stories. They're not make-believe at all, people. These are real stories about people that were very successful after they had a very tough time. You even have a story about, it's been a while since I read it, about the Hershey Company. Yes. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah, Hershey always wanted to be in the candy business. And he would start a business and he would fail. He would try really hard, and he would move to another city and he started, and he would fail. And he failed, and he failed, and he failed. And finally, he came up with a caramel recipe that was so good that he was able to put a business together, and a bank loaned him a lot of money because he got a big order. It was just kind of a miracle that he got the big order, but he did. So he started his business. It was a caramel business. But he had worked in Denver in a candy company who was doing experiments with new machinery making chocolate. And he always thought, that's what I want, chocolate. I want to make chocolate. I want to make milk chocolate candy for the masses. Well, at that time, most people couldn't afford to eat chocolate. It was really expensive, and unless you had lots of money and could, afford something really luxurious, you didn't get chocolate. Well, he wanted to come up with a chocolate that had milk that kind of diluted and made it less expensive, but it still tasted good. And once he got his caramel business up and made enough money, he built a chocolate factory and experimented for years. And he failed and failed and failed, and it just looked like it wasn't ever going to happen until one day there was a breakthrough, And it's what we know as Hershey's chocolate, the chocolate bar that we get, and the little Hershey's drops. What do they call those little Hershey drops? They're really good.
Kisses.
Yeah, the Hershey Kisses. Yeah, it's the same formula that they created then, and it took off. People loved it, and it was affordable. So the chocolate that most people know of now is that formula, what Hershey created. And it would have never happened had he been someone who would quit when he got knocked down. And he got knocked down over and over and over. But it's fun to read the story to see how resilient he was.
Yes. And speaking of Hershey's Kisses has a wonderful memory for me. Every anniversary and Valentine's Day, my husband loved Hershey's Kisses. I buy him a little mini bag and put in his lunch of Hershey's Kisses, and he really enjoyed that. So your book not only inspired me, Dennis, but it made me think of wonderful memories of my own life, and I have to thank you for that. And you have a story about, I don't think I read that one, about Benjamin Franklin, who kept trying to invent electricity. Kept trying and trying and trying.
Yes, he believed that there was electricity in lightning, but he didn't. There wasn't a way to prove it, and so he did lots of experiments. And finally, he put a key on a kite string, and the string was wet, and the lightning caught the kite string and came down and hit the key, which proved that to him that there was electricity in lightning. And so from that, he invented the lightning rod and did some other things. He was quite an inventor. Not just that, but he invented an awful lot of things. And a diplomat.
Yes, yeah. And, you know, it's really incredible. I mean, I live in New Jersey, so Thomas Edison is very popular. They have a little museum not too far from where I live, creating the light bulb. What did he try? Like 99 times he struck out? And, 10,000 times. Wow. Because I thought I heard a quote like, I think, was it him that said it, something to the effect of, well, I know 99 ways that it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. You know. Yeah. Edison, he invented most of his stuff after his mid-60s. In his mid-60s, he wanted to be an inventor, and he was an inventor, but he hadn't invented anything that amounted to much. But he had a big laboratory and lots of employees and lots of experiments going on. Well, back then, all of the buildings were made of wood. And one of his experiments went bad, and it caught his lab on fire. And it burned to the ground. Everything he'd been working on, all of his notes, all of his experiments, everything was gone. And his wife and daughter came up while the fire was burning, I guess to console him, and he said, "Oh, honey, look at that beautiful blaze. You know, you'll never see anything like that again in your life. Isn't that amazing?" And the next day, he started over. And everything that he invented, which was quite a lot of things that we know about today, was after that. So, you know, no matter how bad things get or how low you are, you know, you can always get up and dust your pants off and go again. You know, Colonel Sanders was in his late 60s before he finally found something that worked, which was a recipe for his chicken. But it didn't instantly catch on. He had to, that's in one of my new books, he had to call on people for a couple of years, he'd call on 4 or 5 restaurants a day and make chicken for them. And all he heard was no, 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 until finally someone said yes. And things turned around for him at that time. And, you know, you see his picture everywhere now. I mean, he's famous for his Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, and he was in his 70s, wasn't he?
Well, it was his late 60s. Yeah. When he actually invented the recipe, 11 herbs and spices. Yeah, and so he was in the 70s when he sold the franchise and made the I think it was $3 million.
Wow.
He should have made a lot more, but you know, $3 million at that time was a lot of money.
Yeah.
For chicken breast.
Yeah. And that also shows, Dennis, like people think, oh, well, you know, I'm 60 or 70, 80, I can't do that until old. Well, no, you're not. I have interviewed people writing books for the first time in their 70s and 80s and being bestsellers. Wow. So God bless you. And, you know, and that's the thing, to keep going, to keep your mind active. And right. I think, Dennis, I've heard this before and talking to many business people, that people who, they don't look at it as failing when something didn't work out. They look at it as a learning lesson. Okay, this didn't work. I'm going to try something else. Failure, to me, and I think to people that are very successful, is not even trying, not even taking the first step to try what you want to do. So what if you make a mistake? You'll learn from it and go on.
It's funny. I have a close friend that came up with a brilliant idea about a little park. It was right next to a state park, which is always full, and he bought 40 acres right next to that and was going to build these little cabins, and he had the plan. He got an SBA loan. Everything was going great until one little thing came up that, you know, it looked insurmountable to him. And I said, well, no, that's really not insurmountable. You just need to do this and this, and it'll be okay. But he was convinced that was going to stop him, so he stopped. And it all just fell apart. And it's, to me, just broke my heart. I thought, oh, my goodness, because he was going to make millions and millions of dollars. But he just, you know, some people just can't understand that you don't just go out there and win. There's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be things you have to overcome. And part of the test to see if you're worthy is, are you willing to stand in there and overcome it? That's one of the keys to being successful. It's persistence. You just don't quit. That's
true. I had to read this other a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is amazing. This is why I got to get this book, folks, because the quotes alone will inspire you every day. So here's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Isn't that the truth? That is very true. Go ahead, Dennis.
Those quotes are not just quotes. You know, anybody can go out and pick some motivational quotes and put them in a book. You can do that. They may be good and they may not. Those quotes were collected over a 50-year period where I heard it. It inspired me so much that I stopped what I was doing. I captured it, and I put it in a place where I could keep it. So you can just literally open the book to any quote in there. I challenge you. I don't care which one. And read it, and it will be inspiring. There's not a single quote in there that I have any question that's not inspiring. That's how I feel about it, because it was a hard job to keep these quotes from 1975 until now, preserve them so that they made the bar and got in the book.
Well, there's some wonderful quotes, and very, very inspirational. I heard a pastor one time say, to be the quote of Martin Luther King Jr., is if you want to see what a true character of a person is, when they have problems and they get shaken up, you'll see what spills out. Right. And that's very true. That is so true. I just really enjoy talking to you today, Dennis. I know you're a very busy guy, and so I thank you for spending time with me today to go over your book again, how inspirational it is, how motivational it is, and how it can help someone just reading a chapter, a poem, a quote. I got inspired just reading these quotes doing this show. I got inspired. Excuse me. And talking to you. And I look forward to talking to you again when your new book comes out. So just contact me when your 7 Secrets of Success comes out, because I would love to talk to you about that book.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you having me on and the wonderful things that you say. I appreciate your audience. I hope they will get the book and it will change their life. I hope that they will think of other people that would benefit from it and give it as a gift. Someone told me this yesterday, people do not throw books away. If you give them a nice hardcover book, and this one comes in hardcover, if you give them a nice hardcover book and put something in it, they'll put it in the bookshelf and keep it forever. So if you're thinking of a legacy gift for a grandchild or a nephew, or someone graduating from high school or college, or if you have someone in the nursing home, people in nursing homes really love these books, and they can read them and talk to each other about them. So it makes a nice gift, and it's inexpensive. Where else can you get a really, really nice gift for less than $40? I mean, that's true. That's a pretty good deal.
That's true. This is a book that I will keep. I give a lot of books away to veterans group, but I am keeping this book because I need inspiration, and I could just pick it up, read a chapter about somebody, a quote or poem. This is a book to have for someone's lifetime. And you know what? It's September, but before you know it, it's going to be holiday time. As fast as time goes, this is a great book to give for holidays. Birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, any occasion, just to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. You know someone who's having a rough time, who's struggling? Give them this book as a gift. I think it definitely would help inspire them. I just really think it's a great book, and I hope people will go on your website, Dennis, and buy it, which is realimpactbook.com. Go on that website, folks. All the information about Dennis J. Henson will be in the blog that Jeannie White writes, and they can connect with you on your realimpactbook.com website, Dennis.
Contact us. There's a link that says contact us. It literally has my phone number. You can call my cell phone, or you can send me an email or whatever if you want to connect, and if you'd like to have me speak for a group, or if you just want to talk. Maybe you need cheering up. I enjoy people.
That is awesome. Oh, and I just want to say, if anyone's listening who belongs to a book club, this is a great book. Contact Dennis to have him speak to your book club. via Zoom or however you want to do it, because this is really would be a wonderful book for a book club. Very inspiring. So thank you again, Dennis. You heard Dennis J. Henson, who is author and writer, award-winning author and writer, The Real Impact, Daily Inspiration. Makes wonderful gifts, folks. I highly encourage you to buy this book. Buy two, buy one for yourself, and give one as a gift to someone. And another great idea, donate it. Buy a book, donate it to a nursing home, donate it to a veteran's home. A veteran's home, they would love this book. They would just love it.
Right. There's a link on the website so that you can donate, and the book, everything that you donate goes toward purchasing the book for the kids. It's for kids in disadvantaged communities that need their life changed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no override. It all goes directly into purchasing the books.
Yes, this would be a wonderful book for disadvantaged children to read about other people who were disadvantaged just like them.
Yes.
And they made it. So I want to thank you again, Dennis J. Henson, for coming on the show. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's CEO of Passion World Talk Radio Network, who makes this all possible. And thank you for listening and subscribing. And if you don't already subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, it's for free on iHeart, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music. If you have Alexa, you could program Alexa for Chatting with Betsy. And thank you for taking me wherever you are and listening. Please share the show to help someone else. I want to help as many people as possible, so does Dennis. And we can only do that if you share the show and tell people about Real Impact, tell people about Chatting with Betsy. And just want to thank everyone for listening. And as I always say at the end of my show, you could follow me on Facebook, Betsy E. Wurzel, W-R-Z-E-L. And in a world where you could be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright, because we need it now more than ever before. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a subsidiary of Global Media Network, LLC. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.